Hi, here's a quick tip on using Twisted Wave. Twisted Wave is an online audio editor that we're going to explore. We're going to look at a couple of them, but we're going to record just a short, brief sample in this one. And it's important when you create this account, when you sign up, you use your Gmail accounts. Because what we're going to do is if you sign up and log in using those, we can easily save them to our Google Drive and share them. So I've already signed up, but when you sign up, again, click on sign up, but I'm going to log in. And when you log in, you see you don't have to fill in the email or password. I can just click on Google right here, log in with Google. And it'll ask you each time, do I want to allow access? And because I want to save these audio files to my drive, I'm going to accept that. And once you accept the condition, which is fine, now I know I'm logged in. Right here, my name is up there, and I have it will list my they call these audio recording documents, which is a little confusing, but that's what they are. I have an old one, but I'm going to delete it. So, and with the free account, there's a limited amount of recordings you can make, the amount of time. So if you have a lot of old ones, you might want to clean it up and get rid of them. So the first thing you want to do is click on New Document, and the editor opens up. So this is a very simple editor. Audacity, you'll see, has a lot more features. If you're actually going to be doing a lot of recordings, you might want to use the Audacity, which I'll just show quickly at the end of this. So if you look at you can click on all the options here: files, downloads. You can actually download or send it to Drive. You can edit once you recorded something, add markers, add a loop. You can make some effects, such as fade in, fade out, that sort of thing, reduce the pitch and speed. So what we're going to do is when we have something to say or music to play, we would hit the record button. But first I'm going to click on the untitled, and I'm going to give it a title. So I'm just going to call that. So I might use this in my presentation. If I'm going to do a presentation about poetry and my poetry, I might want to record myself reading the poem, that sort of thing. But I have to find something to read, so hold on, I'm going to pause this and come back to you in just a second. And I have my poem over here, so I'm going to hit record, and I'm going to read my poem. So here's the record button, and when you click record, you have to allow, and I want it to remember that it's going to allow that recording. So once I hit that, I can close it, and now it's recording. You can see the soundtrack here, and I'm going to go back to my poem. Home connected, waiting for life. Oh, I have this before, and now I'm going to hit stop. Let's close this. See, I had two open. It was hard finding it. It was hidden behind my screen. Go back to the beginning and play it. Now it's recording. You can see the soundtrack here. So I want to actually delete this part, so I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to edit, and I'm going to, let's see if it'll do cut. Yep, and now I'm going to play. Okay, so now I know this is the end part, and I don't need that, so I'm going to edit. I'm going to cut that too. And so I think I now have, let me go back to the beginning. So now I think I have, I could look at, I'm going to rename this one because this is the other screen I use. So this is called, my poem was called Home Connected, I think I'll call it. Home Connected poem. So now I have a name, and if I wanted to add effects, I could fade it in, fade it out. I think I'm going to leave it the way it is. Maybe normalize. Let's see what that does. And now I'll hit play. Home connected, waiting for life to show up on this tiny screen. Click. Well, it sort of has a fuzz sound, so maybe I won't use that. So I'm going to edit, undo. Let's see what it sounds like now. I think what I want to do, if I go to effects, I might amplify it a little bit. So let's bring it up a little, then hit apply, and let's see how that is. I like it much better. Okay, so I'm ready, and I want to save this audio recording. I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to send it to my drive. And again, I want to save it as MP3 and export. Let's see if I think it's fine. Yeah, MP3 is fine. Look at the options you have, but I think MP3, and the title's what I want. I'm going to leave it. I don't even know what these are, the bit rates, but so I'm going to send it to my drive. I'm going to scroll. It might take a while to render it, but we'll see. There it is right there. And you could tell with the little music icon, it's a MP3 file. So what I want you to do after you record it, you could, well, let's just click on it. Now this is a new feature in Google Drive that I didn't even know existed. It used to be you couldn't play in Drive. But now you can, which is really nice. So it's still loading. It might take a while. So I'm going to go back to my drive. Oh, these are other files that I have in my drive. I didn't even know I had them. Selected. Yeah, it's still loading. So I'm going to go back here to my drive. And what I might do is click this little button next to it. And here, share. You could share this with me. So click on share. And right now it's private. We could just, I don't know if we should do this, but we could just share it to our Google Plus community and have this audio recording there. L-I-Z. Just type my name in, Elizabeth McCarthy, and you could either add a message here saying, okay, here's my test recording. There we go. Which I'm the owner and I just shared it with myself, so that's probably the problem. It already knows I'm there. So that's how we record in Twisted Wave, export it to our Google Drive, and share it with others. So good luck at trying out that new tool, and we'll look at Audacity. So we're going to take a quick look at Audacity. Audacity is an alternative to Twisted Wave. It's not a cloud-based audio recorder editor, though. It's something you have to download and install into your computer. But I think if you're going to do audio recordings, it's a better option than Twisted Wave. It allows for unlimited recording. It has better quality and more options for effects. So it gives the option of downloading it for Windows, for Macs, or Linux. So I've clicked on Mac and I've downloaded it to my computer. Follow the instructions again for your own downloads. One of the things you might need, though, let me show you in, let's see if it's in the home button. It's called to export as an MP3. There's a plugin that you might have to download. Let's see if it actually, let me click on this and see. Yeah, so if you click on your download, you might, if you can't export it as an MP3, you might come back here and install the lame MP3 encoder. That might be complicated, but just see if that's not a problem. So I've installed it on my computer, and I can open up Audacity. Let me click. So here's Audacity. I'm going to create a new file. Here's it looks a lot like Twisted Wave. Similar editor. The one thing you want to make sure, and I can do it by going to File and Preferences or Audacity, is that it's finding the right mic that you're using. So you can look at in devices that it's using. There's a built-in mic in your laptop maybe you're using, or I'm using a headset, so I want to make sure it's finding the right one. And here in the editor you can also select which recorder microphone you're using and the output as well. What are you going to listen? So I'm going to listen through my headset, or if I wanted the computer speakers I would use that. So those are two things you want to check. And again, just like in Twisted Wave, the little red button is the record. So I'm going to click on, this is the recording button, and I can see the sound waves as it's recording. I'm going to pause it. Now pause, the difference between pause and stop is important. When I click pause, it's not recording, and you see it's not on the screen. and so I can stop in the middle of that track and do something else. But if I want to restart again, I'm going to hit unpause. So I'm unpausing it and it's stopped. Now I'm going to hit stop. Now it stopped recording that track, and I can play it back from the beginning and then stop again playing. But if I wanted to continue on that track, I'd have to make sure that I go put the cursor over here and then hit record again, because it makes, once you've stopped a recording, it's going to make another second track to record from. So I'm going to hit stop. The confusing thing is sometimes when you hit stop and then you hit record again, it's recording stop. See what's happening? When I go to play it now, I've got two voice tracks overlapping on top of each other. So it's just understanding, looking at the tracks and where it's being recorded. But say I had multiple tracks, an overlay, so I have a background music for something and I'm reading a poem, and if I want to blend them together, I could record sound first and then lay over my soundtrack, that kind of thing. But then you would have to actually compress them. So when you go to save it, it compresses it into one soundtrack. But I don't like this track down here, so I'm going to click on this little X to get rid of it, and I'm going to get rid of that track. So it's just to keep things simple. Play around with the features and see what you have. So once you've recorded it, again up here, as you see, there's a whole lot more effects than we did in Twisted Wave, and options for what you can do for each track to mix and render them. You can even analyze each track itself. So you see it's a lot more robust than Twisted Wave. So for now though, I'm going to save the project. Now the project is not a final sound file. It's going to save it as a .aup, which is Audacity project file, which means this is my I'm going to save it to my desktop just for now so I can find it. Now this doesn't play. This is actually, you have to have Audacity to use it. So it means I can come back here and edit these tracks and work on it again. But once I'm done, I want to go to File and I want to export it. So here it's going to export it as either MP3, WAV file, many different types of files. So I'm going to export as an MP3, and I'm going to make sure it's going to, again, my desktop, and I'm going to save it. And here I can give information on the soundtrack itself, the year, whatever. You don't have to fill this out. And then hit OK. So it's saving, and here it is. It's saved it as an MP3. Now those are the difference between the working project file and then the final music file. So I can close this, and then I can play this file itself by and you have to, the first time you've got to agree to, it's going to play in iTunes on my computer. You might have a different player on yours. I don't want to play it in iTunes, but that is an MP3 file, which I could also, now if I go to my Google Drive, just like we did in Twisted Wave, I can upload this file, and I'm going to go to my desktop and make sure it's the MP3, and I can open it, and I can convert it, or I can just upload it to my Google Drive. There it is, an MP3. And I could create a folder. So say I create a folder for my sound files, and just put all my, I'm going to put all my music into this sound file, and I could just share this file. Now if I want to just share this file with people, I go to share and share. So now we could have the recordings together. I could share this with the class, or another person, or we might want to use each other's voice recordings, say if we're working on a collaborative project together. I'm not going to do that now, but essentially that's how we would share the work that we did in Audacity or Twisted Wave, that sort of thing. So good luck. If you have any questions, give me a chat, and have a fun week.